2026 is shaping up to be a seriously packed year for the Reacher universe, and it's kinda wild when you think about how far the show has come in such a short time. Ever since Reacher first dropped on Prime Video back in 2022, Alan Ritchson has basically owned the role of Jack Reacher. Over 3 seasons, he's turned this character from Lee Child's books into one of streaming's biggest action heroes, and because of that success, the series has become one of the defining action thrillers out there right now. After Season 3 wrapped up in March 2025, fans didn't have to wait too long for confirmation about what's next. Season 4, which is based on the novel Gone Tomorrow, is officially happening, and Ritchson himself has said it's expected to arrive sometime before the end of 2026. That alone would already make the year exciting, but it turns out that's not the only thing fans are getting. There's also the spin-off series Neagly, which focuses on Frances Neagly, played by Maria Sten. Her character has become a fan favorite over time, and even though she originally had a more limited role in the books, the show expanded her presence so much that she's now leading her own story. The spin-off actually started production before Season 4, so a lot of people assumed it would release first, which would place both shows somewhere in 2026. And that's where things get a little complicated, because even though getting more content sounds great on paper, it could also create a bit of a problem. If both Season 4 and Neagly end up releasing in the same year, especially within a short gap, it might feel like too much all at once. Not because the content wouldn't be good, but because even something popular can lose its impact if it comes too frequently. Right now, neither project has a locked release date, but one thing is pretty clear: early 2026 is already off the table. That period has come and gone without any major release, so the realistic window is more like mid to late 2026. And if both shows land within, say, the same 6-month stretch, that's where the risk of overkill starts to feel real. The thing about Reacher is that part of its success comes from the gaps between seasons. Each new season has usually arrived after more than a year, and although the long wait between Seasons 2 and 3 was a bit much for some fans, those breaks actually helped build anticipation. People had time to miss the character, so when he came back, it felt like an event. Because of that, the show has never really overstayed its welcome. Reacher as a character still feels fresh, even after 3 seasons, which is not something every series can pull off. But if 2026 suddenly delivers double the content of both a full season and a spin-off, it could risk overexposing not just the character, but also the overall tone and style of the franchise. At the same time, the idea behind the spin-off actually makes a lot of sense when you look at the bigger picture. There's a pretty common pattern in TV where a show becomes a hit, the lead actor becomes more famous, and then that actor starts getting bigger opportunities elsewhere. Eventually, scheduling conflicts or career shifts can affect the original series. That's something Reacher would definitely want to avoid, especially because Ritchson's popularity has grown a lot thanks to the show. He's already taken on other projects, like the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and War Machine, which shows that he's not limiting himself to just one role. And although that's great for his career, it does raise questions about how the show will handle his availability long term. In theory, Reacher could keep going for years, because there are still plenty of books left to adapt. But for that to happen, the production might need to space things out more, which could mean longer gaps between seasons. Normally, that would frustrate viewers, because no one likes waiting too long for the next chapter. That's where Neagly comes in as a really smart idea. The spin-off could keep the franchise active even when the main show is on a break, so instead of fans waiting years with nothing, they'd still get stories from the same universe, just from a different perspective. It's basically a way to keep the momentum going without putting all the pressure on one series. Because of that, it's actually a bit surprising that Season 4 is still aiming for 2026. A lot of people probably expected Neagly to take that spot, giving the main show a bit of breathing room before returning in 2027. That approach would have kept a steady flow of content, something like one release per year without overwhelming the audience. Even now, that possibility hasn't completely disappeared. Just because Season 4 is expected in 2026 doesn't mean both shows will land in the same year. It's still possible that Prime Video could space things out differently, maybe releasing Season 4 first and saving Neagly for 2027, or doing it the other way around. They could even push things further and line up Season 5 for 2028, which would create a more balanced timeline overall. If you really think about it, That kind of spacing would probably make more sense than squeezing everything into 1 year. While fans might enjoy the extra content at first, the long-term health of the franchise depends on maintaining excitement, not burning it out. Another big factor in all of this is how similar the two shows might feel. Since Neagly exists in the same world, shares the same background elements, and even involves some of the same creative team, like showrunner Nick Santora, there's a natural overlap. On top of that, Ritchson is expected to appear in the spin-off, even if it's just a smaller role. So if both shows release close together, they could end up feeling a bit too alike. And that's exactly why giving them some space might help each one stand out more. That said, Neagly does have some built-in differences that could help it feel unique. Frances Neagly is a very different character compared to Reacher. She's more talkative, more expressive, and generally more open to working with others. Reacher, on the other hand, is known for being quiet, independent, and kinda detached. That shift alone changes the tone quite a bit, because the lone wolf style that defines Reacher won't be as central in the spin-off. Instead, Neagly could lean more into teamwork and collaboration, which creates a different kind of storytelling dynamic. There's also the way she approaches problems. Neagly is more tech-savvy and modern, while Reacher tends to rely on old-school methods. You could think of it like she's using the latest tools and digital tricks, while he's sticking to instinct and experience. Because of that, the spin-off has the chance to explore a more contemporary style of action, including things like hacking and digital investigations. Even the action itself is likely to feel different. Reacher's fighting style is all about power. He's basically unstoppable when it comes to brute force. Neagly, however, is quicker and more agile, which means her combat scenes will probably focus more on speed and precision. That alone could make the action feel fresh, even though it's still part of the same universe. But even with those differences, the pressure is still on the spin-off to really separate itself. It can't just feel like more Reacher with a different lead, because that would make the overlap issue worse. It needs to carve out its own identity while still fitting into the larger story. So as things stand, the future of the Reacher franchise looks exciting, but also a bit tricky to manage. There's clearly a lot of potential because the world is expanding and the characters are strong enough to carry multiple stories. But at the same time, the release strategy will play a huge role in how successful that expansion turns out to be. Whether both shows end up dropping in 2026 or getting spaced out over a longer period, one thing is certain: the decisions made now will shape how the franchise evolves over the next few years. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and series news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up, because I'll be bringing you more updates on upcoming movies before they even drop. So keep an eye out for that, along with the latest on your other favorite shows and movies. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.